and we've got like this mashup of so many different teams. And let's see which mashup is going to be the better one. It's almost like a remix off or something like that. It's like it's what I love about the Casper Cup. As we get into the pick and ban for our first game, Hanwha on our blue side to start things off, and KT Rolster will be on the red.
Like the immediate Elise ban here as the second one to come out on blue side. They saw Bono play that and they're like, how about no? How about not again? And that is going to force Bono onto something new, which I'm excited to see. And we did talk to our observers who are quite highly ranked on the Korean ladder. Apparently, Lucian is a solo queue menace, and particularly in the top and mid lanes. So you do see him in the bottom lane as well from time to time. So the triple flex plus the fact that players in the top and mid lane are getting a lot more practice because he's, coming back into the solo queue meta. Teams just don't want to deal with it. It seems too strong. And we do have a Misfortune ban, so Syndra gonna sneak by, and Tempt is like, thank you very much. We'll snatch that up right away.
I'm actually a little bit surprised. I thought the Cassiopeia would come out instantly. Lava was so incredibly good on that pick when he was able to lock that one down, and of course utilizing his mid prowess with a champion that certainly is well suited to the bottom side. But no, they're going to go tried and true. Certainly a very easy blind pick. Flexible as well in the Syndra. You can move her towards the bottom side also. And speaking of hers, Rek'Sai is going to be locked away. And now, Bono, what are you going to decide for another member of your team, as your jungler has already been locked away?
Yeah, I like the Syndra. I think it's a little bit higher tier compared to the Cassiopeia. It gets banned a ridiculous amount of the time, 11 times so far. Did get played 6 times. It's 4 and 2, so doing pretty consistent work so far. The Rek'Sai this early is kind of interesting, and then the Nautilus you were mentioning before the cast even, that it is a bit of a flex pick. We could see it mid, we could see it bot, so picking it this early, KT Rolster wants to keep some stuff a bit more of a mystery so far.
Yeah, closer to the chest. Surprising lock-in of the Nautilus. I don't know whether that's necessarily a priority pick, and Hanwha, you can see them certainly hovering one of those priorities. Kuro and so on could, of course, locked away the Rise, kept that flexibility available, but now we've got double mages either in solo lanes or flexing the Syndra towards the bottom side of the map, and Haru is going to lock away the Olaf.
LS somewhere just got a heart attack. He's
well,
like, no!
To be honest, there's already a jungler locked in for KT, so theoretically, this is a better time. Because the Lee Sin has been rolling over the top of every single Olaf pick so far here in the Casper Cup, and a lot of Olafs have just been picked blind into it, which hasn't worked out so well.
No.
KT, they're going back to the old favorite. I was talking about this with you and the observers earlier on today, and I was like, it was a direct nerf to aiming to have Kai'Sa fall out of the meta, and she certainly has, guys. It's been locked in here, but she certainly hasn't been the flavor of the month like she was throughout the entirety of the World Championship. At our item builds, just a little bit different, a little bit more difficult to make work.
I think the only reason that they can do this is because they have 2 extra bans. I mean, they already took away Misfortune, and Varus was banned on the other side. So if you take away every other meta pick, maybe even ban Senna here, alongside of the Xayah, and you're like, so what are you going to play into Kai'Sa now? If you lose so many other AD carry champions, maybe that's the only reason he gets to play it. They're going to take away the Morgana, which I suppose can be good into a Nautilus, but
yeah, that is anti-Nautilus tech being thrown in there. We've seen a couple of Morgana bans, even though we haven't seen her actually picked, even when she's been available. But we'll see whether we do get any more, as that is the Kuro special being taken away. The Aurelian Soul not going to be seen here. The Celestial God himself is going to be put on the bench. So, Aatrox. The consideration, certainly, there are Aatrox players and there are Aatrox players, and so on is certainly of the better camp. Cuve, not necessarily one of our favorites on the old Aatrox. The guy played Rise and Aatrox and did less than 20% of his team's damage. Like, how do you even do that?
It's really hard to do that, actually.
Yeah, it's a roughie. That is a roughie. He didn't exactly have the best series.
Other people carrying.
Yeah, in a 2-0 win, right?
Yeah.
What, really?
Yeah, exactly. It was a lot of the bottom side of the map carrying, as I don't believe that Amumu is going to be the pick here, but with a Camille being picked, it does mean that there raises some questions as to what exactly
that is Syndra bot lane.
Our bottom lane is going to be Syndra bottom lane alongside of Lehen's.
Ah, yes, Syndra singed. Singed Dra. The old Lehen's favorite. Yuumi, of course, was available. Of course, he's fantastic at that pick too. But Lehen's, his original was definitely the Shen. He basically played Shen at all times, and you guys remember back to the early dominance of Griffin. It was certainly largely based on either this guy pick and thresh and them doing fancy things with Skarners and Threshes, or him picking up the Shen and just being everywhere on the map. And that's that Cassiopeia we were talking about, and it's going to be Kuro piloting it in the mid lane. He has played a few games of this recently, actually. He's got about a 60% win rate so far in the preseason, picking this one up, and I thought that it was largely to do, I mean, Kuro is a legacy Cassiopeia player, but there's also the fact that you want to be able to push as much flexibility into your picks as you can, so these drafts become easier and easier. But this is so short range over on KT's side. I mean, if Tempt gets going, the spell flux is just going to be everywhere. The AoE explosive damage is going to be out of control, and Cuvée splitting up this composition could actually be a big problem, because they do have that burst potential coming out from Lava. But it is an interesting comp that Hanwha have put together.
Hama Life definitely bringing out, you know, the old dusty tomes of the strategy, strategy book. You know what I mean?
Hanwha doing that. Look, we've got a Kai'Sa back on the Rift. What the heck is going on here? Of course, it's an aiming favorite, but why?
It's both teams bringing in some of the old and some of the new.
Yep.
As Aatrox continues to hit the Rift here for so on. Interesting stuff.
We're playing some retro League of Legends here for the Casper Cup. Let's get into Game 1, Hanwha versus KT. Goodness, they learned. They must have heard our last one. You guys better get those pogs in the chat, even if they don't work on YouTube chat. Just get them in there.
Bring out those YouTube emotes. Oh, wait. Oh, sorry.
Okay,
sorry about that.
Well, Lehen's is going to dash his way over, but KT, they had the technology. They had the ward button, and they spotted it all out.
We have the technology. It is possible.
Aiming just face checks anyway. It's like, yeah, but
the arcane shifts over the wall as Kai'Sa.
He took level 1. He deserves this. Oh no. Okay.
I think they're both dead. Although
Lehen's and Cuvée are certainly doing some wraparound shenanigans.
Cuvée
this could just be
survive.
ships in the night.
Oh,
this is just ships in the night.
They didn't really collapse that fast.
They just didn't know where the rest of the team was, right? So that tri-brush there, that could have been an option for Hanwha to converge onto, especially when there was absolutely no vision of the river. So just better safe than sorry on KT's side this time around, and maybe just happy with the lanes that they have for themselves. You can't really see too much of a standout, especially in the solo lanes. This could be interesting. Relatively short range, high DPS potential. You didn't see that, by the way, the missed CS with the twin
I
fang
actually
coming out
did
from
miss
Kuro.
it.
That's not what we want to see. This bottom lane could be fun, because now we've got a new visitor to the bottom side for the Casper Cup in the Syndra and the Kai'Sa, both of them.
Yeah, we were discussing in between the matches, you know, who are the carries for both sides? And for KT, it felt like actually Bono was reaching this new level.
Oh yeah.
Where he is just pretty, really strong actually in the early game, and he's already proven that he can do it in multiple different phases. And also, you know, Kuro obviously is going to be extremely strong for them in the mid lane, so it feels like that's where the carry potential comes from mainly. But on the side of Hanwha Life, that was all about this bot lane. Lava Lehen's. The two of them coming together. Lehen's putting on a nice carry performance on the Yuumi the last time they did play, and obviously we already talked about Lava and his ability to be versatile, but also to carry on those very different picks that he does bring out. So we already saw that Cuvée has been having some trouble, once again having some trouble in the top lane at level 1, even though the Camille is a counter pick we've seen multiple times here into the Aatrox. we'll hope that he can get that going a little bit better up into the top side. And another question mark is Haru on the Olaf. The Olaf currently 1-6 in the Caspa Cup alone. At least this time around, as you mentioned, they were able to see the jungler was Rek'Sai, so they had a bit more extra information before just blind picking the Olaf.
Yeah, of course, Lee Sin a favorite to be picked into Olaf, especially back in Olaf metas past, and has been the answer to that pickup a lot. And in fact, has just been a standout jungler so far this tournament. So the Lee Sin not opted in for, in fact, was available. Bono decided not to pick it up. And he's going to be riding the Rek'Sai this time around. So Sohan actually losing out on a couple of trades here. You mentioned that this is a popular matchup, especially in the past for the Camille. But Sohan is a different beast to a lot of other top laners. Has certainly been improving his play. This guy was sort of a notable Riven player back in the day, you know, like was certainly a man who played very aggressively. As Crow's going to move on over, Prey Seeker in, but Bono not going to find out too much more than that as Lehens takes too much damage from that. Dredgeline even coming through here, but the concussive blows are on cooldown, so not going to find too much more there. Force of Will out from Lava just to try and get a little bit of extra harass, but he's got to start landing these spheres onto Aiming if he's going to get any more. Cleanse is what Aiming has opted in for, so Lava going to have that teleport advantage on the bottom side of the map. As finally some of those spheres are starting to land. Getting his eye in here on the bottom side. But yeah, Cuvée losing out on a huge trade here towards the top side as his teleport is now going to be on cooldown if he's going to make his way back in. Sohan opting for the more defensive rune choice in the Grasp of the Undying. We've seen a few other options here in some matchups. We've seen the Comet even in the preseason employed, but this is certainly the defensive choice and can help you out, especially against Camille, which can be troublesome at times. Yeah. Double Doran's Blade from Cuvée. He's really trying to have as much help as possible in this early game, and Ninja Tabi completed on the first back here for Sohan is disastrous for a champion that really does like those autos. Even one of his buttons is an auto.
Yeah, I think eventually the Camille, well, is going to definitely outscale this Aatrox, and once we hit 3-4 items, the side lane is going to be much harder for Sohan to lock down when it does get to it, but so far, as you were mentioning, and as we have been seeing, Cuvée has been having a bit of trouble in the Camille versus Aatrox lane. The composition of Hanwha Life as a whole, you know, alongside Camille is kind of weird because Syndra and Olaf, they hit a peak and then they slowly fall off. But then they have this kind of, you know, they have like a world team, if you will. Like, they can go in multiple different lanes. The Shen can help out in side lanes. Camille is an excellent split pusher. Syndra can split push. Even Ryze can split push. So everybody can kind of be all over the place and try to make that happen. They have multiple teleports, 3 in their team. And they have a bunch of scaling in the Ryze and the Camille itself. So I think as the game does go along, it should favor them. But then if you look on the other side, there is Cassiopeia and the Kai'Sa that can eventually make this happen. But we'll look to go for those Aatrox flanks into 5-on-5s with all of the CC, you know, to get Kai'Sa into the back line. So definitely 2 different styles of really team compositions that are coming in here. So it should be a fun and close game, I'd expect, just like we were expecting this series to be.
Well, let's just see who's going to be able to convince the other team to play their style of League of Legends, right? Because we've got 1-3-1 versus teamfight. We've seen this so many times. KT, of course, wanting to get that teamfight happening. Despite their lower range, they just have so much extra DPS and CC available. Tucson going to move on up in amongst 3 people and survives for a really long time as now Lava throws down the Unleashed Power. That's going to be the first blood coming in, but how many Hanwha Life members can survive? Lehens going to make his way out. It's a ring around the rosy. The Yakety Sax is out extraordinarily early here in this series as Aiming's going to be able to pick up this kill most likely. Nope. Gets the assist, though.
Interesting. I think he actually wanted to deny the kill from Aiming, specifically.
Yes, he did, yeah.
As you were mentioning. I think he should have stayed and picked up the axe and thrown it again to clear the wave, just so that, you know, they can get the push going a little bit extra in the bottom side. But as you were mentioning, I think they just wanted to deny the Kai'Sa any extra gold As
Speaking
a nice
of
little,
denying the Kaiser,
what
whoa,
is
flash
going on
forward from
today?
Tucson? What is going on with Tucson
I
just
know.
so far this tournament, man? He's been doing some weird stuff. His first match, if you didn't see it, don't. It wasn't great. Earlier stages. I mean, you tried to give him the MVP because his late game was still fantastic, but his early game certainly left a lot to be desired.
He didn't win the MVP. We'll say it. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And he's not going to win the MVP for this move either. Although I suppose it was a big bait, but definitely estimating the tankiness from the Nautilus here.
Yep, Lehens just says goodbye. Soan is going to join him here. And in the meanwhile, as you can see, there's a Camille in the top lane. There's a Rise in the mid lane. And Hanwha have just continued to farm things out. It was only a 1-for-1. And in fact, Mr. Olaf gets to donate the kill over to whoever he wants. So Haru, pretty comfortable there. Now, Predator going to be online, goes back, grabs himself the boots. Very close to Warrior Enchant, which has certainly been the jungle item of choice for our Olafs. No one sneaking out any Cinder Hulks or anything like that. No tanky Olafs. It's all about the damages at this point in time. And both of our mid laners, very similar item builds towards the beginning, especially. We'll see whether the Rise is going to be of the Righteous Glory Persuasion, or whether we'll get another Rod of Ages. But for now, Hanwha very comfortably get themselves this Ocean Drake. We'll check out what the next one is going to be and see which Drakes we can...
Ooh, Cloud.
Yeah, so Cloud Drake going to be coming in next. So we've got Mountain Soul or the Infernal Soul is our Dragon Soul opportunities.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a big thing for especially Hanwha Life to look towards. I think they'd love the Infernal Soul to come on in and just pick up a bunch of those. With the small lead that they have picked up so far, if they could get, let's say, a Fed Camille or a Fed Rise in the side lane with multiple Infernal Drakes against pretty much anyone on the team of KT, they're going to win that lane, and they are going to be able to force KT to play to their style, as we were talking about. So we'll see how how that one goes down. I think Mountain Drake would be a bit better for KT, who would love to have a strong front line who can sufficiently tank up and make these team fights happen.
Yeah, not a massive amount of champions that want to build too many dedicated tank items, but Bono will eventually get on that train. Tucson's going to want to be as tanky as he possibly can. So definitely wanting tankiness. Whether you'll get a lot of value from a mountain early is going to be debatable, as Shelly's going to charge herself into the lip of the pit as Hanwha move over to yet another neutral objective, looking to take it away from KT, utilizing continually this early game advantage that they have put together for themselves, and showing that they're taking their good momentum from their earlier series and moving it into this KT match, which certainly has a lot more challenge to it than their previous one.
Early Shelly pickup here is going to be put up in the top lane. Note that Lehens is level 6, and ever since then, he has left the lane. He has been up in the top side, and now he is going to the top lane. What this does is that we do note that, in fact, no Shelly is going to be procced here. Hanwha Life actually want to get more value out of it. They're going to say, okay, we'll trade sides of the map, and we'll push as you push, and then we'll drop Shelly, actually, to get First Blood turret up here in the top side. So we're going to get more than you possibly can because you do not have the Rift Herald, even though you were able to put the pressure on the Syndra.
Yeah, fun fact in that moment as well, they popped Shelly late so they could deny as many creeps before she comes down and starts tanking up the turret. It was actually great. Soan was completely zoned out of experience range. Haru does have his Ragnarok available, but QV going to have to use his hookshot to get out of the way, and Soan now finds himself in a very rough position. Last time we saw Soan, he was on his Jace. He managed to do about 34% of his team's damage. Yeah. He was very, very pivotal. But this is a different champion. More of that team fighter, not able to just throw in shock blasts and get that damage, as Soan continuing to try and be aggressive against QV.
That was their insane poke comp, wasn't it? I think we were, or maybe it was me and Achilles that cast that one.
I think it was, yeah.
It was just ridiculous amounts of damage that he was able to do alongside of his team. But yeah, definitely a different style here, but not something that someone has not played. So will be fun to watch him there on the Aatrox that continues to come out here. Not a lot of action in this game outside of the early blue invade that we did have from Hanwha Life that went 1-for-1. But a slow creeping lead coming in here for the side of Hanwha Life with that first blood turret up on the top side.
Yeah, and I mean, a slow game probably helps KT out. They do want to scale a little bit more. They're going to move towards Tempt here as the Dredge line just going to taxi Tucson over.
That was the Challenger or Iron kind of thing.
Yeah,
where it's like,
I think so.
Do you dodge up? And in that case, Tucson was predicting that, you know.
Yeah, the juke.
The Challenger juke. Or is it Iron, you know, to go for that kind of juke because you're expecting Tucson to expect that. And instead, why don't you just run in a straight line like an Iron player would, and in that way fool the Challenger player? And
mind games.
Yeah,
the mind games.
The mind games came through, and Tempt just ran straight back, and it would have been a really easy hook had Tucson been expecting.
Yep, just gone for it. Generally, you should just throw it at the champion, especially when you're blocking the fastest route back, because it would have meant that the Rise had to spend a little bit more time in range of other players. But look, we'll see what Tucson's going to be able to make of it next time the mind game is going to be available. Stormrazor has been picked up here by aiming. A slight adjustment to this particular item, not necessarily as buffing the Energizer as it used to be, just offers it its own little buff. So we'll see whether aiming's going to be able to capitalize on the power of this item. It's changed a little bit. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily a huge buff or anything like that, but we've seen a few of them being toyed with as Tempt just almost kills Bono. It's like, hey, buddy, remember me?
Yeah. Perhaps glad that they're not teammates anymore, as the rivalry was coming in there. You could see it in their eyes. But now that the jungler of KT has eaten an insane amount of damage, the Cloud Drake is going to be pressured here by Hanwha Life. We do have Kuro making his way down already, though.
Yep, some fancy footwork coming in. Miasma is down, and another Dredge line is going to go wide. It's a disaster for Tucson, but he does get the knock-up. Goes golden, and now there's a Ragnarocking Olaf. Not really doing too much. Just walks back, steals himself for Drake as the Aatrox is doing some work. Lahen's going down low, but now the Killer Instinct dives into the backline. Tempt with a cute little flash as the Infernal Soul is going to show that this definitely is a fight that we're wanting to watch. Cube now dancing away from Soan, who doesn't find the Qs, but it's a huge fight win for KT despite losing the Drake.
Yeah, it's going to be a 2-for-4 at the end of it all, and they're fine if they lose the one Cloud Drake, if they can move in from here and get all of those Infernals in a row. Exactly. As the fight was very, very broken up. It was really insane as Lahen's was going forward, but Lava was trying to kite back on the side of Hanwha Life. As you see the flash goes in there from the Shen, but then Lava's left alone in the pit. Thankfully, keeps him alive just barely, but then immediately followed up after. And from there, it's just team fighting. That is going to be really good for KT. Aiming and Kuro able to group up together and 2v1 that Rise that unfortunately doesn't do enough burst damage right now. And yeah, just able to get the jump on him. The Aatrox had so much room to, you know, flash the wall and be a menace in that backline and really break up anything that Hanwha Life had going for them. And once again, the Olaf did not do all that much in the fight.
Got a little bit trolled by a stopwatch that Tucson had for himself, so not sure whether Tucson was a genius in that fight or whether he was just inting. However,
it's hard to know with Tucson.
KT were definitely the ones that walked away the happier team in the end there. I want to go back to a debate that I believe LS was having yesterday or the day before. It was the day before yesterday. Yesterday was our day off. Just talking about, you know, the strategies when it comes to these dragons and the Dragon Souls, and which ones do you wait for? Do you give up certain Drakes so you can make sure that you have 4 of the best options? And KT could certainly be one of those teams. I don't think we got to the bottom of it the other day because it's like the Tucson question, you know? Is he a genius or, you know? But we'll see whether KT,
bronze.
Yeah, we'll see whether KT is going to go a little bit more aggressively towards the Drakes. And you could imagine with Infernal Drake possibly 4 stacks of Infernal Drake and then Infernal Soul, that is certainly something worth considering. As Shirley has spawned herself here as Soan, now in trouble. He's going to Umbral dash away, but he's not going to dash far enough. Just dead. Tempt, a lot of damage now on this Rise, who did pick up the Rod of Ages, a bit more damage potential, and has stacked it earlier on. And already these Qs are starting to hurt, as now Hanwha are going to take their second turret of the game.
Oh, and they're going fast too. Let's speed this one up and try to take another Drake. They know that KT are going to be going for that Shirley on the map, so they just speed this one up in the bottom side. And you were talking about Tempton is scaling. He got the shutdown as well, 450 gold for the kill onto the Aatrox. So that's going to be a big rise once we do move on in this game. Hanwha Life now with a small little lead, about 2,000 gold, and they're going to love to just try to keep that going in through the mid game into the late game where they can scale in 1-3-1 and try to pull KT apart.
Yeah, absolutely love that you bring up the 1-3-1 as well, because opening the map like this is fantastic for this style of composition. And now Cube, knowing that that bottom lane is completely free, he can set his sights possibly on the top side. I mean, Hanwha do need to do some work opening the mid lane. That is going to be very important, but you can see that their composition is so side lane focused, just with the fact that they're missing turrets. Quite a lot. No longer are we in the K-Ram stages where both teams want to try and group up as 5 and posture for fights. This is all about Hanwha Life trying to create space for their side laners and create man disadvantages on the map, which is oh so easy when you have that Stand United available in the hands of Lehens.
Lehens is just in the mid lane CSing, by the way.
Yeah, it's just he's being a top laner now. He has his redemption already completed. The old Griffin special, of course. I believe it was Tarzan that popularized redemption being picked up earlier on last year. This year. We're very close to it being last year.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
we
so
want to say last year
Yep.
every single time, but we just have to catch ourselves all the time. It's only, what, 3-4 days until it does go to the next year, so at least we got that going.
Yeah. Well, that's a really nice turnaround from Cube.
Yeah, big one.
Walks off the miasma, but most importantly, didn't get petrifyingly gazed. I think that's a verb. Not entirely sure, as the Infernal Chain's going to get dashed out of. Ooh, Scatter the Weak very close. On to Bono. Importantly for KT fans, not going to be landing. KT have the kill lead, but they have no other lead on this map. They need to try and get themselves together, get the fights that they're looking for. They are going to get the Drake that they're looking for, but they are going to sacrifice the outer turret in the mid lane in order to do it, or are they? Tucson dodges out of the way of that stun. The minion wave is going to leave. In fact, the Void Seeker is going to be able to relieve it of the last minion, and Infernal Drake is going to be taken. So KT, they take everything, and they get first rotation to this mid lane minion wave as well.
I'm really not sure why Hanwha Life didn't group up and try to fight there at the Infernal Drake. Maybe they feel like they need more time to scale, and they're not willing to take a 5-on-5, but you know, Shirley comes in, does a nice amount of damage.
Taking the turret forever. The flash forward. Kuro didn't even need to do that. Cube was just dead.
What is he doing? Oh, man.
That's called greeting for a turret, my dude.
Yeah. That was, unfortunately, a bit of an embarrassing moment for Cube, and that means that he could give up the Baron here over to KT.
Yeah, that one mistake from Cube, he doesn't have flash now. I mean, Redemption is going to spot this one out at least, as there's the taunt flash to come in, but it's on top of Tucson. If he's going to die, it is still a 4v4, remember, guys, and they have so much of their damage still here. Realm Warp can come on over. They're trying to lock down So-On, but World Ender gives him the movement speed. Thankfully, for Hanwha Life fans, they do stop the Baron. And that one pick off onto Tucson was enough to do it.
Yeah, Lehens is going face first, and that is one of the things that is built into this composition. Picking off one member and just demolishing whoever that is. It doesn't matter if it's the tankiest person on their team. It doesn't matter if it's Gargoyle Stoneplate Nautilus, who, by the way, I don't think he was even able to proc it because he died so fast. As, what are you doing, sir?
Yeah, so he was, I think, just going to try and kill Kuro in one rotation.
And then he just got outplayed, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, is it outplayed when you know what that button does, right? Like,
I know.
You know?
Maybe just didn't expect him to press it that fast.
He's like, now I remember that dang Cassiopeia buff. Now he can put the miasma on his feet.
How long has that been around? 2 years?
No, I mean, that buff was, you know, a couple of months ago. So
okay.
That was like World's buff, I think. Yeah, I don't know. But
yeah, that is true. The one where you can aim exactly where it goes.
Yeah, on your feet.
That hasn't been around for that long.
But miasma has been, like you say, around for quite some time.
Still, you know, you can still set yourself up to make it happen as a quality Cassiopeia player. But either way, it was just It was just a confusing play from Cuvée, absolutely. On second watch, it wasn't even like he was greeting and it was like, oh, you know, I made like a little bit of a solo queue mistake. No, it was like kind of a question mark.
That's a whoopsie. That's a whoopsie. That's when like the death comes up on your screen and you're like, how did this happen?
Oh boy, look at this.
So on, he doesn't have that opportunity. Is now right behind this turret. He's going to go for the 1v1. Cuvée not quite there just yet though. As the realm warp gets them out. Aiming wants to try and follow, but he's not going to be able to, as this depth charge, which lasted an extraordinarily long time and eventually, I believe, dissipated. That was really strange. But they do escape. Not going to get anything for it, really. Just a bit of damage onto an Aatrox. But you can see that Cuvée is starting to be scary. Despite the fact that he made those whoopsies, you can understand why he's playing aggressively.
He's going back.
Yeah, Tempt is here as well. They're going to try and trade Baron for
Tempt doesn't have TP.
A broken base.
They can immediately go on to Baron, and yeah, I think it's just a straight-up trade, as you mentioned.
I actually don't mind
Maybe
this,
they can
right?
try to
Because
3v4.
Hanwha can't fight around Baron. They don't have a 5v5 composition. That's just not how it works. Haru's going to go for a steal. He flashes in, not able to grab that. A lot of damage does come down, but they've traded it for an inhibitor. Now you've got a 2 versus 1 going on here as we're going to check out, but that Q does not land. And so there's a Baron in trade for an inhib. Probably not worth if you're a Hanwha fan, but we'll see what they can do with it because the Super Creeps will help out. Empowered back, they're going to go the shortest distance possible here for So1's Aatrox, as he does have that Sterix gauge completed. He's a little bit on welfare, but not doing...
We were talking before about how this, you know, some of the plays in this game feel like they're either Iron or Challenger, but I feel like this entire game feels like it's Iron and Challenger. Very close on the smite, by the way. Extremely close there between the steal coming in there from Haru. I was thinking maybe they were going to try to pick off one guy with some of the burst damage from Lava and Haru, but doesn't seem feasible, especially when Tucson, before the fight even starts, he procs Gargoyle Stoneplate just to make sure he can get it off and doesn't get CC'd to death.
He learned from last time. I like it.
From last time. So there wasn't even a pick that came in there. There was no kill onto the Aatrox on the bottom side.
We're not going to see whether that dredge line landed,
and
but
I think
based on the rest of the game, I think it missed.
It's just Hanwha saying, no, this is our play style. Come fight us, bros. You know, it's like, no, we're not going to team fight you. What are you kidding?
Yeah, if you're not at your Nexus, that means we can kill your Nexus. Yeah. Perfect. Cuvée straight up misses that one, but so does So1. Not going to get the Infernal Chains there either as Bono coming on forward. Great knock-up. Cuvée taking a lot of damage, but Hookshot is one hell of an ability. Dredge line, and there we go. Killer Instinct comes down. Can't dodge that damage, my friend. And the Acathian Rain finishes it, so no more Camille. Bono's going to take an Infernal Drake. There's a snake in the bottom lane, and things are going wrong for Hanwha.
Absolutely. Maybe just trying too hard to go for that split push, but KT called their bluff. They're like, okay, if you want to split push, I mean, we'll fight you here then. Yeah. As 3 versus 2 happen at the top side, that's something that you can do with the Kai'Sa, remember? They bring back the Kai'Sa specifically to make sure that they can make the team fight happen as Cuvée stays too long once again, just to get hit by that depth charge, and that's really what killed him in the end, with the Kai'Sa able to come in. And Haru was nowhere to be seen. I feel like they shouldn't have just let the second Infernal go KT's way as well. You know, split push with 2, but you don't need an Olaf there.
No, not so much. And I mean, KT do need another 2 Drakes after this, so 10 minutes minimum before that one comes in. But
for now, it's still 10% AP and AD for the team, plus the last bits of the Baron buff, so feeling pretty good about that, as Bono takes a lot of damage.
Yep, Tucson picks himself up a puppy, but not a Cuvée, thankfully for Hanwha Life. Hanwha do defend their inner turret. Their base isn't broken off that one, as there's the taunt flash, Ignite comes in, Bono tunnels away. So that was some excitement, but to no avail.
Just a bait by Bono. Just a great play by...
Hey, he got a flash. He got
by
a flash.
Bono. Yeah, results oriented. It's actually really good for the side of Bono. Gets his back delayed, but there's no objective, so it doesn't matter. And he gets the flash out of Lehends, which is absolutely going to be huge, actually, for initiating these fights. You know, Lehends is the big initiator alongside of the Camille, but, you know, how often is the Camille going to be near enough to actually engage onto anything as, well, unless, you know, we're talking about her split pushing lane, obviously, as she's been trying to engage onto the Aatrox multiple times. And now this game really enters an interesting spot where, you know, how many more Infernals are Hanwha Life going to give up, and who is going to get that Infernal Soul? And can KT end the game and try to get the second Baron to push to end the game? I think that would be their main objective, and try to just stop the split-pushing shenanigans of Camille and Rise jumping on in with potentially teleports, and then you have Lehens that could always jump in and threaten, you know, crazy inhibitor dives, maybe even going for backdoors on Nexi.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can use Realm Warp as well to get to create all of those shenanigans. As soon as Tempt has teleport available, it means that there are so many options when it comes to real cheeky plays from Hanwha. Whether they'll be able to do it, though, is the question, right? Because KT certainly can get back to base relatively easily. But yeah, the 1-3-1 is certainly happening. I mean, the 1-2-2, or whatever you're calling it. Or is it like a 2-3-3? Because Shen can be everywhere. Speaking of everywhere, so on, going to be taken down. Yep. Lehens is in, doesn't even need to taunt. But Bono's going to come on down, and now the collapse is in. Getting one kill is something that Hanwha can definitely do, but can they now push forward with their 4 versus 5 advantage?
And remember that they could have double TP'd if KT committed there, because both Tempt and Lava have TP. So if they go in and they're like, no, we're going to 4v3 you, it's just not possible with all the TPs and all the globals that Hanwha Life have in their comp.
Well, now KT, they do have their bottom inhibitor respawned, and a dredge line finally lands from Tucson. It's the death of Lava. I mean, when he lands it well.
The definition of Tucson right there. Just show them this game, show them the Leona game from the last time they played. This is the kind of player that Tucson is.
If it ticks over 25 minutes, he's really good, guys. Don't you worry.
The guy,
early game was not super great. As now Haru, I think, is just dead. Yeah, aiming should be out. Oh. Not going to be able to get there, and doesn't have a Void Seeker to launch. Of course, isn't an AP Kai'Sa, so may have not have even killed. Doesn't have a lot of magic damage in his build at this stage. In fact, doesn't even have that evolution of the W.
Second Baron.
Yeah. And it should be free here for KT. They've got so much damage. This teleport. Kuro going to get in there, and Kuro is like the most Baron damage, but aiming as well is doing a hell of a lot. As now, so I'm going to have to try and defend here. Realm Warp comes down. They will get this inhibitor one more time. So bottom inhib for Baron. They love this trade. They've done this one before, but now can they play it better on either side? Because of course, I mean, the Baron didn't really work because the base is still standing, and the inhibitor didn't really do that much either, as KT didn't lose any Nexus turrets or anything like that.
And what about the Drakes? This is the question that I keep asking about Hanwha Life. How many Drakes are you going to give away? Well, Tempt is TPing top lane, so that kind of shows
the dragon spawns.
Yeah, it shows you what their thought process is. They're just like, we're going to pull them out of position and then try to get Drakes that way. And they're...
I mean, there is a big split.
They're effectively confusing KT. It actually works this time around.
Yeah, that was very, very strange. However, now Haru does have Ragnarok available. Not going to get knocked up here. Fair bit of damage does come down as Bono's holding on to his Void Rush and doesn't actually utilize it. Understands that it's quite dangerous in the jungle. Cuve going to clear out some tunnels, some excavation work here for the Camille on the way out. Checking in on some items. Brendan, we do have the Liandry's Torment as well as the 2 favorite items of Kuro here in the Rod of Ages and the Seraph's Embrace, moving towards as
no
long
Morellos.
as No Morellos is certainly something that we definitely need to talk about being a good thing for KT. However, Hanwha made the mistake in picking it up on their Rise in the mid lane. Of course, there is a fair bit of healing available in Aatrox, Rek'Sai, and the Cassiopeia.
KT trying to force a fight, but Hanwha Life don't want any of it.
That's the flash. Another one's going to land as the Killer Instinct is there from aiming, always diving into that backline. As the Miasma causes so much disruption.
They have to back.
And somehow that Acathian Rain was enough to take down that kill. KT will be winning this one. It was such sneaky play from Hanwha, but unfortunately, the straight-up team-fighting League of Legends was just too good. Unless Cube can do something incredible, but he's not going to be able to. It is a very dead Aatrox, but also a very dead Nexus. KT walk away with game 1.